Welcome to Spice Mantra. This is Adite Thatte. Today I am here with a special guest, Pam Jones. She's going to be helping me make two dishes. We are making royal rice biryani and a vegetable gravy korma curry. So it's a vegetable korma curry. Hi, Pam.
Hi, Adite. I'm so glad you invited me to join you here. I am so interested in learning about Indian cooking.
Well, I'd love to help you, and I understand that you took some classes.
I took one class, and it was an observational class. We had such wonderful time, and the food was so different to what I'm used to. I'm so interested in getting some more involved.
So what kind of food, what did you make?
Tomato gravy and rice with cumin and cilantro. It was really yummy.
Okay, so I guess we're doing similar things, just different. We're using mint instead of the cilantro today in the rice dish. So let's get started.
Great.
And I'll walk you through, and you can ask me any questions.
Great.
And hopefully you'll get a lot of information out of that too. She's going to ask me good questions. So for the rice, we are making, this is basmati rice. It's 1 cup of basmati rice, and you'd be cooking this in 2 cups of water, a tablespoon of oil. You can use any vegetable oil. I just happen to use olive oil, and salt to taste. So you just cook that, and we make the gravy and mix it with the rice. For the gravy, what you do is you need 1 cup of yogurt. This is just plain yogurt. I do make my own yogurt, but you can buy any good yogurt.
Oh, wow. It would never occur to me to make yogurt, so one of these times you'll have to show us how to do that.
Yeah, it's fairly simple procedure. You get the culture from the store, which is your basic yogurt, good quality. Sometimes I prefer the Stonyfield or any good Greek yogurt, and you just bring milk to a boil, get it down to a lukewarm temperature, and then just mix the two together. Put it in the oven. Don't turn it on in the summertime. Wintertime, you probably need to just preheat the oven, turn it off.
Right,
and
so
then,
it's warm.
Right. So the next morning you have yogurt, homemade.
Wow. And you can get the culture at the regular grocery store?
You can, it's anything that you buy, like the Stonyfield yogurt. You take about, let's say you take 1 cup of milk. You add a tablespoon of yogurt to that, mix it all in.
Oh, okay.
So the next day you have yogurt.
Oh, all right. So it's sort of like your sourdough biscuits. You just, once you get some started, you just use it to go to the rest. Okay.
That's the culture, and it just,
I understand.
Grows overnight. Similar to yeast, but not quite rapidly like that.
Okay, and so you said we're making a korma curry?
Right.
And I see korma a lot on menus. When you see the word korma, what does that mean to you?
So it's basically a cream tomato-based curry.
Okay.
For most part. It can be coconut sometimes, but for most part, when you go to the restaurant, it's cream-based, not coconut-based, unless it specifically tells you.
Okay.
Otherwise, it could be vegetable, it could be meat-based. You'd get a lamb korma, a chicken korma.
Okay, but you'll know it'll be a cream.
Right.
Okay, that's good to know. It's always nice to have an idea about what you're ordering.
The korma is spelled K-O-R-M-A.
Okay.
And you can definitely ask questions. They're always happy to talk to you about what is in there. And at the restaurant, you can always order mild if you don't like spicy food. I know you happen to like spicy food, so
this will be good. All right.
So, okay, this is 1 cup of yogurt, and I'm just eyeballing everything. So to this, I'm going to be adding this is garlic ginger paste, again homemade.
Okay.
It's not difficult to make, so this is something I know that we've talked about, and you said you wanted to.
Right. So do you do the ginger on like a grater? Is that how you do this?
You could do that, or you can even just rough chop it, because you're going to be putting it in the food processor or the blender.
Oh, okay. So it's food processed.
So for this quantity, which is about a little less than ½ cup, I have 2-inch piece of ginger and about 7 to 8 garlic pods.
Okay.
And just rough chopped, and you put it through the blender.
Put it through the blender. And do you keep this in your refrigerator all the time?
I do. And you can freeze this too. Sometimes I make little blocks, with ice, and then just take one and pop it in when I'm stir frying or doing any other dishes.
I need to do that.
Smell that?
Oh, it smells amazing. Yeah. It's like heaven.
Yeah,
ginger is probably my favorite spice.
And it also has a lot of medicinal properties. So it's good for you for digestion, for when you have a cold. So we're adding.
When you're nauseous and if you're pregnant, I remember.
You do.
I do remember.
So ginger ale. So this is what it is.
Yep.
You know, except for the garlic, but
Not the garlic, but that.
Yeah. So a teaspoon of ginger garlic paste.
Okay.
And then you do turmeric. I have my little handy dandy spoon here. Half teaspoon. Again, I'm eyeballing everything. If you're one of those people that like to measure, you can do that, but I know you don't.
No, I'm an eyeballer.
So I have the
Now, I
turmeric.
was reading about turmeric that it's supposed to be one of the magical herbs and that it is good for everything. It's good at anti-inflammatory and just they're thinking that it's that we should put it on everything.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just a magic herb. I remember there's a story I have to tell you. When my daughter was young and she was at preschool, she fell down in the playground, had a little cut, and she told her teacher when she, did the washing and then the ointment and the Band-Aid, she goes, "I want my mommy." And then she goes, "Okay, we'll get your mom after we do this." She says, "No, I want my mom to bring," it's called halad in the Indian language, in Marathi. So she said, "I want halad." So she didn't want the ointment, she didn't want the Band-Aid, she wanted turmeric because that's also, it stops the bleeding. So
really?
That is, yeah, it's anticoagulative, I think,
Yeah.
So I might have got the word wrong, but so that's something that she wanted. So the teacher called me up and
you brought it?
I brought it, and she was happy, and it did stop it actually. So the teacher kept a little packet in there.
I want to
for
have
other
to try
kids,
that at home.
Yeah, so most of the spices and herbs have a lot of the healing properties, medicinal properties. As you know, they're all plant-based, so no side effects. A lot of people are going that way when you see so many side effects for everything from a cold to cancer, and people claim. It's difficult to prove in the modern world, but they are trying.
Yeah, no, they are, and they're finding more and more things. I'm glad there's more research going on.
So then I have the turmeric, and then I'm going to be adding garam masala. This is something that we have done on other episodes. It can be as simple as 5 spices, which are dry roasted, and it goes through the spice blender. I don't do coffee at all in my spice blender. I just have a spice blender. So it's basically your coffee grinder that you get at the store. This has nutmeg, cinnamon, cloves, cumin, and coriander.
Oh, let me smell this one. Well, to me, since a lot of the things it has in there are what I associated with Christmas, so it always smells like
that
Christmas
allspice?
with me, the allspice and all that.
So again, you can buy this at the store. Store-bought one is convenient, but it's nothing like making your own. And I know you've tried this at home.
Yes, I have.
And you use it.
You inspired me.
Right. I'm glad.
Yeah, no.
Same thing, about a half teaspoon here. We're going to be using this again when we do the rice. And blend this together. So we have ginger garlic, and we have the turmeric and the garam masala.
Right.
And to this we'll be adding the vegetables. You want to do this?
Sure.
Start adding the vegetables. So I have 2 medium-sized potatoes already cubed here, so peeled and cubed, and I put this in water so that it doesn't turn brown. I'm just going to drain the water. And add that.
Add that.
So basically we're just marinating these vegetables here.
Oh, what could be better?
And 2 small carrots. These are just peeled and cut into coins, if you will. They're kind of small dice. Same thing. And at this point,
I'm sorry.
it's okay. I'm just going to add some salt.
I'm so messy. Don't invite me to your kitchen.
That's a sign of a good cook. You make a mess, have someone else come
I don't know
clean
what
up.
I was wearing white for.
And salt to taste. Usually this takes about a half teaspoon, but you can, go more or less according to how you want it. And I always like to add a little bit of sugar to cut down the acidity whenever I use anything sour. Like in this case we have yogurt, and we'll be doing the tomatoes later. So I just add a pinch of sugar.
All right.
So you don't really have to be concerned about the calories in this at this point yet. That'll come later. So that's the marinade.
Okay, I think I've got everything covered. Let me just start a little bit for the sugar. Well, it already smells unbelievable. All right.
Right now the rice is all cooked. This is the long grain basmati rice.
Wow, that's even longer than what I normally see. Did you get that at a specialty market?
This is at the Indian store.
Okay.
So, you know, we did the oil and the water and some salt in it.
Right.
And the next step is adding the saffron to it.
Okay.
And saffron is the derivative from a flower. And also it's the most expensive, I guess you'd call it a spice, really, in the world. And the reason you were asking me why it was expensive is because they're all hand-picked. Do you see how it is? Like each
they're very,
one.
very tiny, yes.
That's the stigma.
So that's each of one of the flowers.
Right. So they're hand-picked, and that's why that's so expensive. And I think they sell it in grams. And
yes. Now, does it add a flavor, or is it mostly just for color?
It does both, actually.
Oh, okay.
It's got a very sweet, fragrant, almost a little citrusy, but more on the sweeter side. So it's, you know, and then it gives off the beautiful orange-yellow color. So what I've done here is this is about 2 tablespoons of milk, and you can use whatever kind. You know, it can be whole milk, or you can even use cream if you want it. But I just did whole milk here, and added about. It's really hard to say how much, so it's like you pick 2 pinches.
2 pinches, okay.
On this, yeah. So for about a cup of rice, that's plenty. And you know, if you don't want to do that much, you can use just a little bit, just a pinch, really. And then you just want to make sure that it's soaked for about 15 minutes.
All right, until you get this really pretty color. Right.
See how pretty that looks? So now we're going to be mixing that into the rice. Probably should use a bigger spoon. Like that. It's not much bigger, but bigger than the other one.
Yeah.
So I cooked the rice a while ago, so it's kind of all set here. But we'll just do the saffron milk to it. See, it already started giving you that nice color.
Yes.
And you just mix it all well. Okay. Not like me. And then,
magic of television.
Right. And then you would add the mint to it.
Okay.
And I'll let you do that.
Did you? You just made the mint leaves?
Yeah.
All of this?
No, we'll just do that handful. That's good. Okay. So this is about a quarter cup.
So you don't tear them or anything?
I don't tear them. It just goes in there like that. And now the rice is ready, and you mix it all well. So the next step would be to add the cooked curry korma that we are making. We cook that separately. I'm going to show you that in a minute. And then we add that, mix it all together. Okay. And so that's what some of the pilafs are made without the gravy, but once you make this, I don't think you'll go back to the store-bought pilaf mixes. It just a couple of steps, but it just comes out really good at the end.
Now for serving, I just want to understand, so you mix it all together and then put it on the plate?
Yeah, at the end. And also, you know, let's say your guests are coming, you can put it in the oven. Leave it at, you know, low temperature.
At low temperature to stay warm.
So, yeah.
Okay, great. That sounds wonderful.
Okay, so we'll cook the gravy next, the korma.
Sounds good.
All right, Pam, now we're going to be making the vegetable gravy to go with the rice.
Okay, before you start though, this looks an awful lot like a wok to me, and I think of wok as Chinese food. Is it an Indian food too?
It is. In the villages, when you go, you get them in all different sizes. You get them from like really little ones to big ones.
Really?
And I always want to bring the big ones home. I can bring the little ones home.
Right.
And you've seen some of my small ones.
Yes.
But, you know, I always love to bring those, but I can't.
What do you call them?
They're called kadai.
Kadai.
Yeah, K-A-D-A-I, kadai.
I'm going to start using that word.
Okay. So, all
right, so we've got oil.
Yep. And the only difference is, you know, the Chinese wok has a handle, the Indian woks don't.
Oh, okay.
So then you end up using a tool to pick it up like this, which is, just happen to have it here. So you do this, and then you hold it up.
Oh, that
obviously for the big ones you need huge tongs. Yeah. This is something like, for me, I have to have it all the time to use it for pots that don't have handles.
Okay.
So then we have 2 tablespoons of olive oil in here, and you can use any vegetable oil. It doesn't have to be.
Okay, and it's on medium heat?
It's on medium-high heat.
Medium-high heat.
Turn it up a little bit.
Great.
And you add a teaspoon of cumin seeds to it.
Okay, now see, that's really interesting because I always have cumin ground, but this is in the seeds. Is it better in the seeds?
It is, because it enhances the flavor a little bit.
Okay.
And also you get a little bite when you're eating. You don't want to add too much, because then, you know, you don't want to be biting into the cumin itself. It has a smoky flavor to it. Do you like the taste of cumin?
Oh, I love the taste of cumin.
Okay, and then I'm adding the jalapenos here. You can add more because I know you like hot. I'm just adding that's about a quarter of a jalapeno. You can de-seed it if you want it. I've left a few seeds on.
Yes, because you know I like it hot.
Right. And then I'm doing peas here.
Okay. Make this so bright and green.
That's about a half cup of peas.
Okay.
And then I'm going to add a half teaspoon of turmeric again.
All right.
And we talked about that before.
Right.
So
yeah, I suspect you put turmeric in almost everything.
Almost everything, like pretty much almost everything that you cook 99% of the time on the savory dishes and spicy dishes. And this is tomato puree. It's fresh tomatoes.
You made it yourself?
I made it myself. And in the summertime, I do this all the time. Winter, not so much, but I like to do it as much as possible because see the difference? There's a little difference in the color,
but
the taste is just amazing.
It'll be amazingly different,
Do that. And you want to be careful with that because this does have more water than your canned tomatoes.
Right.
You certainly can use the canned ones. You just want to make sure it's a good quality.
A good quality, right? Starting to smell great.
So this will take a while to cook.
Okay.
And you want to be careful if you're waiting white, it'll splatter. So.
Do I want to continue stirring?
Yeah, keep stirring.
All right.
Yeah, please. So, you know, you want to get it to a nice boil, and it starts leaving the sides of the pan like it is right now.
Right.
But you know, you'll see it like cooking up, bubbling up like that. And then you want to add, this is cashew pieces. It's about a quarter cup. And the reason you're not really adding whole cashew is you just want it to be mixed up with the rice. Like that, and without overwhelming, because we're going to be adding almonds to it later.
Oh, right.
So this is not exactly a nutty rice, but it's a vegetable rice. So. Okay, so you want to, you know, it'll cook up a little bit more, and then what you would do at that point is,
And now you're going to add...
Right, I'll add the marinated vegetables. We did this with the yogurt and the garam masala, ginger garlic. What else did we add? Turmeric?
Turmeric, yeah.
Right. And after you do this, you want to turn the heat down a little bit because anytime you cook with yogurt, you want to make sure it's at a low temperature, like medium-low.
All right, medium-low, like right about there. All right.
Right.
And the colors here are just so great that you can see the yellow from the turmeric and the greens.
Right.
It just looks so healthy.
Heat up just a little bit till you get it to that point where it starts cooking down more. So when it cooks down, actually, you'll have a slightly orangish tinge to it because of the tomato and the yogurt blending together.
Right.
And we don't really have to add salt because we have already added the salt and a pinch of sugar to it.
Right.
And then the rice is already cooked with salt. So if you're, you know, careful about your salt, you can leave salt out from the rice. You don't have to do that. And so you cook on medium-low heat for about 10 to 12 minutes.
Okay.
Till the potatoes are cooked. The carrots, you know, can have a little bit of crunch. That's fine. But the cooking temperature is pretty much the same for both the vegetables. The potatoes take a little bit longer.
Right.
Because the cubes are slightly bigger than the carrots. And so it takes about 7 to 10 minutes.
It looks amazing. Oh, and the smell. I wish you guys could smell this. So good. I guess I should say the aroma.
So once it's cooked, you mix the rice. Where, you know, I have the rice right there.
Right.
So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So you'd be adding saffron to it.
Okay.
Saffron would be, you soak saffron in milk and then you add to that.
Right.
And then you garnish it with almonds and mint.
I can't wait to see.
Okay.
All right.
I'd love for you to tell me how it tastes and cook for your family. Pam, this is the finished product. This is the, you know, the rice that we cooked, the royal rice biryani, vegetable biryani. And the last step here is we'll be adding some garnish to it. And basically what we did was we had the cooked rice,
right,
and then the gravy that we did with the yogurt and the spices. We cooked that down with the tomato and mixed all together. So you can see the potatoes, the carrots, and the mint is kind of wilted in there.
Right.
So now to add the garnish, what we do is a tablespoon of butter,
Right.
unsalted butter. So you would take a small skillet. In this case, I have this cute little gadget here. So you melt butter and then add about 2 tablespoons or a quarter cup of almonds and roast them on medium-low. So once that's done, you get the butter, just strain it off, and then just add it in here. So that adds the flavor.
Yes, it smells amazing.
So I'll just have you mix that a little bit.
Sure.
And then what we do is add the almonds on top, and then to garnish, and also some mint.
Oh, this sounds wonderful.
I do that. You do the mint, and I'll do the almonds.
All right. I think most of the time it's the garnishes that really make the dish.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. There we go. And is that delicious? Would you serve it to your family?
I would serve that. I want it right now.
Right. And I'm also curious, like I know that your kids like to try different things and
Yes.
they actually eat it.
No, my kids would eat this all the time. I put nuts on rice for a dinner party, and I really didn't think that they would eat it, and they all said, "Oh, that was the best part."
Okay.
So from now on, I add it everywhere.
Right, and it's optional. You can leave the nuts out. You know, if you're serving it at a party, sometimes you can leave it out. Or if you have nut allergies, you just don't even do it like that. Just the mint is fine. Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely.
So there it is. Pam, we're doing another dish.
Okay.
This is the vegetable korma curry, and these are the ingredients. So again, you know, they're similar to the rice ingredients that we did, but again, much more simplified in this case. So the vegetable korma, you can use different combinations of vegetables, but
Right.
I thought it would be nice to do some cauliflower and red pepper.
Right.
Summertime, right? And
Right.
so we have this really nice stuff in the market. I have about a small head of cauliflower chopped up into little florets. You don't want them too big.
Right.
And
Bite-sized.
bite size, and red pepper chopped up like that, about an inch. And also, again, we are using the ginger garlic,
Right.
the fresh ones that we made. So for this one, to make about a half cup, you need 2-inch piece of ginger.
Right.
And then garlic, you can go less more with that, but at least 6 to 7. So you add a little bit of water to facilitate grinding.
Okay.
I think I forgot to mention that before.
Oh, okay,
so
that
you
makes
wanna
sense.
Add,
Okay.
So just to get this to a creamy, you know.
Yeah, it looks a lot
consistency
like
that.
horseradish,
Right.
prepared horseradish.
Right,
But
right.
okay, sounds great.
So, and then we have a half cup of chopped onions.
And you use the sweet onions or the white onions?
You could use either. You could even do red.
Okay.
And if you use shallots, you can use that, but you just want to use less because that's intense.
Okay.
And then we have the turmeric.
Uh-huh.
Again, we talked about that. And the garam masala, which has the 5 ingredients.
Right.
Do you remember what they are?
Cinnamon.
Yeah.
Whole spice. Like cloves.
Cloves?
No.
Okay. So remember the C's, the cinnamon, cardamom. In this one, I've changed it a little bit, so tricky. Cinnamon, cardamom, cloves. So those are the 3 C's.
Okay.
And then you can go with cumin, again, another C,
Right.
and coriander.
Oh, all right. So that's
The 5
nice.
C's.
5 C's.
And with this dish, I've added another 6th ingredient, a secret ingredient, nutmeg.
Oh, all right. All right.
So 5 C's and an
And an N.
There you go. And fresh tomato puree.
Okay.
Again, you want to add a little bit of water to facilitate grinding. So it depends. If you use Roma tomatoes, you don't need it.
Right.
But if you use, also depends if they're ripe, you don't need to add a lot of water.
Right.
So I won't say exactly how much because then it'll get watery.
It has to look at the right amount, right?
You know, I mean, the thicker the better. If it's a little watery, all you have to do is just while you're cooking, evaporate the water.
Okay.
And I also have a secret ingredient that normally you know probably most cooks in India or the Indian cooks don't use. It's peanut butter.
Okay, because I think of peanut butter as Thai food, so I guess
yeah.
you've been influenced.
I guess, I do my own thing. And
It's a fusion here at
absolutely.
Spice Mantra.
Yeah, my grandmother always used to say, just try things. If you like it, it works. If it doesn't, dump it.
Right.
And she probably would have never said that in India. She came and stayed with me for 2 months, and she said, you can do whatever you want. Nobody's like watching over your shoulder.
No.
And that's how I learned to cook. I didn't really cook before at all, like till I was 19. And I started experimenting, cooking when I came here. So my food is not sometimes very authentic like that. I use a lot of the ingredients, but then I make changes. My food is not as spicy hot. Because sometimes when you eat at the restaurant, it's really hot food. I mean, you feel the heat, and then you get all the little spices, flavors like that. So mine is a little, because my family doesn't eat very hot food. I love hot food. I know you do
and
too.
I do too, yes, but my family doesn't either, not all of them. So
yeah, it's good to know that you can actually, modify that.
Right.
It can be spicy, it doesn't have to be hot.
Right, exactly.
And the other dish that the other ingredient is heavy cream.
Okay.
That's what makes the korma, the curry, the creamy flavor.
Right.
Sometimes at the restaurant you can't really tell that it is, even though it's got that orange red color to it. But you get that look only because when you add the cream to it.
Okay.
And the taste, of course, the flavor. And then the last ingredient I have here is cilantro. Cilantro is used extensively in Indian cooking.
And it's one of my favorite flavors. From where I'm more of a Mexican food cook, and we use cilantro in everything.
Like all the time, right?
All the time.
Yeah. I remember having the good Mexican food at your place.
Oh,
at the
yes.
Party. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and cook this.
All right, I can't wait. All right, so we're back with our wok.
Okay, this is the vegetable korma curry.
Okay.
So wok with about a tablespoon of oil.
Okay.
You can do a little less, more. Again, we are adding peanut butter, so you don't want to go too big on the oil here.
Right.
It's on medium high, and I'm doing the adding the chopped onions.
Okay.
And you want to just stir that till they get soft for about a minute or so. And you don't want to really burn them. You just want them to turn translucent like that. And then you add the ginger garlic, again, a teaspoon. Little less, little more, depending on how you like it.
Yep.
You just have
like
to be
ginger.
You do, right?
Yep.
So you just have to be aware that that can be spicy too. It can be hot ginger if you use it in larger quantities. So like when you buy the ginger candy, do you ever buy that?
Yes, I do.
So that can be at the end, you get like a little bite.
Yep.
That's just from the ginger because it's concentrated.
That makes sense.
So we did the ginger, garlic, and then the next, same thing again, turmeric. Everything looks yellow and orange just because you're adding the turmeric. I did about a half teaspoon in there. And the garam masala. You can also use curry powder. This is homemade. It's dry roasted with the 5 ingredients. This is 5 C's.
Yes.
Cinnamon.
Coriander.
Clove.
Cumin.
And what's the other one?
Cardamom.
Cardamom, yep. And then we did the nutmeg. So
And a little bit of nutmeg.
you can almost smell that in here.
Yep.
So I'm doing a half teaspoon, a little bit more. Pam and I like spicy food.
You do. All right.
So stir for 2 to 3 minutes. Again, you just, you're really blending everything together. And then you add a tablespoon of peanut butter. That was about a tablespoon.
Yeah.
And once you get it all mixed nicely like that, of course at home you take your time doing it. We're doing it in the interest of time.
Yep.
And this is the fresh tomato puree. Add that. I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit. And you want to do it, nice and slow because as you're cooking, you're mixing all the ingredients and blending all the flavors together. So that's the key. And if it gets nice and brown, but not like like a golden brown, but a light brown, that's when you know it's done. So when you see the final product, the gravy, you'll see that it turns a little more. Right now, it's got a nice color to it. It's almost like a what would you call that shade?
Kind of like a burnt sienna.
Yeah. Very nice, ma'am. I would never have thought about that.
That's not what you would have said?
Yeah. No, I would have probably picked 2 colors and, say something like that. And then we have the cauliflower and the florets and the red pepper. You could do green, you could do orange, you could do purple, but probably purple wouldn't be the favorite, nice in that.
No.
So.
The orange bell peppers is the favorite in my house right
Is it?
now. Yeah.
Okay. It's got like a sweetness to it, I think, so that's kids like to eat it.
Right.
Not all kids. I know Dave doesn't like to eat vegetables. He's our director today.
My husband wasn't a big vegetable eater when I married him, but we found that he likes the less traditional vegetables like bok choy and kale and not as much the corn and peas and that sort of thing.
Okay. No, but Dave, again, after he went to college, started eating some vegetables there. So, yay, Dave. Yeah. And,
how bright this is.
I really want to acknowledge our camera and crew and director, everybody today who's come out to help us. And cooking shows take a lot to do.
They do.
So, Dave Chatterton and Andrew Valenchansky are doing the camera, and Dave is directing as well. So, thank you.
The food is a good payment, though, for coming out. All right, this is looking great.
Okay, so at this point, once you get it all, again, you do 2 to 3 minutes.
Right.
And then you add a cup of water.
Okay.
About a cup?
Yeah.
Because I know you don't use measures.
No, I don't measure either. Yeah, eyeball it. You can always cook it a little longer.
Right, so, once you get it to a boil at this point, you would also cover it after that. And
cover it and simmer it, okay.
For about 7 to 10 minutes if you like them to have a little bite al dente, but if you like it well cooked, then you do the 12 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
15 minutes probably would make it a little mushy for you, but some people find that they like it better like that. So, so you want to cook that down, and then once you see all the little bubbles that you're getting there, once you get everything down, reduced and cooked, the last ingredient you would be adding in this would be heavy cream.
That's what makes the korma.
Absolutely. So I have a 1/4 cup here.
Okay, and you add it in when it's bubbling?
Actually, you do it at the very end, and I'm just showing it so that you can see the final color. And once you add the cream, you don't want to get it to a full boil.
Okay, so
you just you turn it down and see a little bit like that, like the little bubbles is fine, but you don't want to cook you don't want to curdle the cream too.
Right.
So you mix it all in, and then the salt and the sugar. You add a ½ teaspoon of salt to taste, and then a little pinch of sugar. I always do sugar in everything that I have.
To bring the flavor out, right.
It cuts down the acidity and brings out the flavors. So that's basically it,
That looks excellent. I can't wait to taste it.
Yeah, and you can serve it with the rice that we did earlier.
Okay.
With the royal rice biryani. And you can do it with plain rice. You can do it with naan bread. And my kids even like to do it with Italian bread or French bread or anything like that. So it's something that you can also put different vegetables, combinations, whatever is your favorite. You don't want to do, probably not like zucchini or, cowards and things like that because they get really soft cooked. Anything that you can do, potatoes, you can do eggplant.
All right, so the things that have a little consistency. That sounds right. Okay.
And I've even tried it with squash in the fall, so because just those colors it's got those fall colors in it. So I've tried that with squash, and I do a lot with vegetables. The other thing you can do is you can do add meat to it, and you can do eggs. If you want to add eggs to it, what you do is hard-boiled eggs.
Hard-boiled egg, okay.
And you do it at the very end. You want to bring the hard-boiled eggs to room temperature, and then just before serving, you would put that in, and you garnish it with cilantro at the end.
Sounds great.
So there you have it.
Thank you.
And you'll get to taste it really soon.
Oh, I can't wait.
All right, we have the food here, and I'm going to dish it out for you in a second.
I can't wait.
Right, there's a little garnish that a relish that I'm doing. This is, again, yogurt.
Right.
I'm going to add a little salt to it. So I'm using a little less than a half teaspoon.
Okay.
Probably I'll even go less because you might not like salt. And like I said, a little bit of sugar, a pinch, because it's yogurt. And I have my handy whisk here. I already did it before, but just to show you, just do that. Make it all nice creamy.
Right. Yeah.
And then as you're doing that, I have some interesting, do you know, guess what that is?
Let me smell.
Okay.
Oh, it's mint.
It is mint. So what I really did was, this is mint with a little bit of garlic in it.
Okay.
So I have about a half cup of mint, and you don't want to overpower it. So in this case, even though I love garlic, it's just one small clove of garlic.
Okay.
So if you have a big one, you just want to do a little.
Right, and
small.
water, I'm sure.
Just a little bit of water.
Okay.
And again, food processor blender.
Right.
So I'm adding, this is about 1.5 cup of, I'll have you mix it.
All right.
1.5 cup of yogurt. And so, you know, you can go less or more. If you don't like it very minty, you go less like that.
Mint.
But if you love mint, then you can go ahead, add that. And these kind of relishes are like palate cleansers.
Okay.
You eat the spicy food, so in between you just kind of, you know, you always, when you go to a restaurant,
cool. Right.
yeah, you always have that.
Okay.
So does that look good, or you want a little bit more?
Maybe a little bit more.
Okay. We'll make it more green than white.
Right.
How about that?
There we go. Oh, that looks excellent.
Okay.
Alrighty.
And that's it. You don't need to do a thing to it. That's, you know, it's really simple to do.
Great.
And,
Let's dish it up. I can't wait.
and also you can, you know, serve this with the naan bread that you can buy at the grocery stores. So let me do the relish first. And you can go fancy, but, you know.
This looks wonderful.
And do the rice. And get you a piece of mint.
Love mint.
And the cauliflower, red pepper, vegetable korma. And here you go.
All right. Got it. And so do the yogurt in the middle.
You can do the rice and then do a little bit of the yogurt and do the curry, and then you can mix all three.
Oh my
What do you
goodness.
think? Good?
This is so good. I'm going to be over here for dinner every night.
Absolutely. You're invited. You know where I live.
Very, very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam, for coming and making it so much interesting for me to cook. I've done it by myself, and I've thoroughly enjoyed having you.
Oh, I appreciate it. I'll come
you.
anytime. Thank you.
Thank you for watching Spice Mantra. This is Adite Thatte. I hope you are able to make some of these dishes. Spicy food doesn't have to be very hot, as I said before. Make it fun, make it spicy, and not hot, but hot if you like it.